Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am so excited to be covering Ladies of London, Season 2, Episode 2, The Barefoot Baroness. You guys, such a good season. I love Caroline Fleming. She's such a mess. She's so kooky, but she's so fun to watch. And so I'm loving the season. I forgot how fun it is. I love this episode that we got to see more of the kooky side of Caroline Fleming. I'm still loving Caroline Stanbury. She gets a little controversial soon. We'll get into that. But yeah, I'm just so excited to be here and excited to be covering it and talking about it. And you guys seem to like it as well. So I love hearing your thoughts on this. Leave me comments below. I read them all. I love them. And let's get into it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So we start off with a montage of mornings at the different ladies' houses. We see kids getting ready and the ladies in their element. And the episode really kicks off with Caroline arriving at Marissa's house. So remember they had the cocktail party last time where Caroline had the cocktail party and she and Marissa are fine, but Marissa and Juliet are not. So Marissa had a new machine delivered that shocks your muscles and she wants to try it out with Caroline. So there's a pretty funny scene where they climb in bed together and they're trying out this new shocking machine. It's funny. I thought it was a cute scene. I would totally try it just to see what it was like. But, okay, so Thanksgiving didn't go exactly as planned. So Juliet decided not to go to Marissa's. Marissa is saying she didn't attend her own birthday party. Well, it seems like, I kind of get where they're both coming from. And it's hard to know what happened, but if I take Marissa's side of things, then it's pretty shitty that Juliet didn't show after she was, saying how important this birthday is to her, and Marissa incorporated the birthday, and then Juliet decided not to show. But if I take Marissa's side, it's kind of shitty of Juliet to be like, listen, I know this is your thing. You throw Thanksgiving every year, but we should make it about my birthday. And, oh, I don't think it's special enough at your restaurant. And that's pretty shitty too. So, I don't know. I like seeing both sides, truthfully. So, what's interesting here is the editors show us, I guess that event has already happened. Thanksgiving came and went, that party. So we get to see a flash of Marissa's at Bumpkin with her friends and family at a beautiful table and all the work they put in and making it special for everybody. And it didn't look like a restaurant setting. It actually looked like a home setting. Then we see Caroline Stanbury's. Now, how can you turn down anything at Caroline's house? Her house is gorgeous. But we see them, it looks like it's just her, Sophie, Juliet. It was hard to see who was around the table, but I'm guessing just them and their families. And they just had a nice, quiet evening. So it's interesting to see those, the juxtaposition of the two. Marissa's saying, I hosted her birthday party without her. Marissa and Matt host friends and family to the Royal Albert Hall every year for Christmas. Because there's a big sing-along there, so they have a private room where they have presents and Santa and stuff for the kids, and then they go to the sing-along and sing Christmas carols and have warm drinks and all this stuff. So she's inviting Caroline, but she does say Juliet is not invited. So this is Caroline's face, knowing that she's back in the middle of things. Then we have Annabelle, Marissa, and Julie Sandwich. And I know that's not her name, but I don't care. She married into the Earl of Sandwich family, so I'm going to call her Julie Sandwich, because it's too confusing with Julie and Juliet. Julie Sandwich is there. They're at this big art exhibit. It's an art show for a good friend of Annabelle's. Annabelle looks fantastic here, I thought. She's recovering from that horrific injury. She looks beautiful. I love that dress. Julie Sandwich is saying Annabelle is the it girl in town, And it's a cool thing for her to invite me to this. She said she really doesn't get invited to things. Julie Sandwich says this. Annabelle is the book of aristocracy for dummies, and she's letting me in on how it works. That's what Julie is saying. So to make it even more confusing, we have Caroline and Caroline. So we have Stanbury and Fleming. They've known each other for 20 years. They're meeting up, drinking champagne, and Caroline Fleming is throwing a Scandinavian Christmas. And so the deal is she wants everybody to wear red, and Caroline Stanbury says she'll tell you to come casual to dinner, and then she'll show up in a ball gown. And so they explain that Fleming didn't grow up the natural path. She said she grew up in castles, and Caroline Fleming's house is in Chelsea. She comes from a very important Danish family. What's interesting is I love her house, by the way. I absolutely love everything about it. I don't love that skull picture, but everything else I absolutely love about this house. I think it's fantastic. Look at the cabinetry. I just love the kitchen as well. She loves to cook. She has a big, fabulous kitchen. This is her florist, who she had flown in for the occasion, for the Scandinavian Christmas. I mean, talk about money. Okay, so she's having this big dinner on Monday. She wants to keep it very Scandinavian. She explains her backstory. She was married for 8 years. She has 3 children. She wants to be loved who she is. So this is why I love Caroline. She says things like this. I would prefer to laugh on a bicycle rather than cry in a limo. I'm doing a terrible impression, but that's the kind of crap she says all the time. It's so funny. If you ever listen to Watch What Crappin', sometimes they just look on her Instagram for the crazy quotes she puts out there. These like, I don't know, what's the platitudes or something she puts out there. It's really funny. So everybody's getting ready for the Scandinavian Christmas. We see Juliet goes over to Julie's house because, again, these names have to be the exact same. Sandwich comes over to Juliet's house, and they're going to the Scandinavian Christmas. Again, she wants everybody in red, so that's what they're wearing. Annabelle sent over an Alexander McQueen dress, and so Sandwich is super excited about that because she said she's never worn McQueen before, and she's very happy. Good for her. It's awesome. Marissa's going, and Juliet says they haven't spoken since before Thanksgiving. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll see how that plays out. I thought Juliet looked nice too. I really like her dress. I really wanted to like this McQueen, and I mean, Julie looks nice, but I just don't know that it seems to swallow her or something. I don't know. It's not my favorite, and I don't. There's something about Julie. I don't know. I feel like I always go for a Caroline Stanbury look, but I end up looking like Julie. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I guess Caroline Stanbury is the Instagram version, and Sandwich is the real life version. I don't know. So back over to Fleming's house. I love this house. It's in Chelsea. I'm sure it costs many multiples of millions of dollars. Gorgeous, though. Love how she decorates it. Love everything about it. It's just fantastic. She has a really nice place. She's invited, we keep saying this, she's invited her friends to the Scandinavian Christmas. She loves tradition. She said she surprised people when they come to dinner at my house. She has a Martha Stewart way of being. And you can see she adds all these little details, like a cookie with each person's name on it. So that's their seating chart. And just everything is spectacular. Everything she cooks looks delicious. It is surprising when you have somebody like this that's technically royalty, but also just very wealthy, having this dinner party. She's doing all the cooking. She's actually in the kitchen cooking for everybody. So it's kind of cool to see. We see Luke arrive with his friend. We see Sophie arrive. Everybody looks spectacular. Very formal. I don't know. I'm obsessed with this house. Seriously, look at all that. It's just gorgeous. Caroline Fleming explains that her family is renowned for throwing the most incredible dinner parties where every detail is thought of. Let's see, Julie got a message from Marissa saying that she's not coming, she's not feeling well. So Juliet and Julie arrive, and Caroline Fleming's preparing things in the kitchen. She brings out Cheetos as a snack for her American friends. She calls everybody darling. I'm kind of blown away. She has no help for this dinner party. She said she knows how she wants things done, and she's kind of a control freak about her dinner party and about how she wants, things to look and things to be done. Juliet says she won't eat goose, so this is a call back to Mapperton, where she freaked out about venison. She learned nothing about etiquette. She ends up eating it, and it's fine, but if you don't like it, just don't say anything. Just pick at it, whatever, pretend. You just don't have to make a big deal out of everything. That's just Juliet's personality. It's such a beautiful table. It's such an interesting table. They have that weird glass shelf that sits up high. See it? I go back and forth. I don't know if that's a little weird or if it's kind of a cool decoration element. I'm not sure. Or where you can put food up there maybe. I'm not real sure, but I don't know. I like her apartment so much. I'll take it. Find Caroline Fleming to be absolutely stunning, and then you see her do things like this, and it's kind of funny. She's like gnawing on a bone. And then even Caroline Stanbury is talking about how Caroline Fleming laughs. I have never heard a laugh like this. I don't even know if I can do this laugh, but I'm going to try. It's like this beautiful creature, and she laughs like, just kind of shocking and funny, and I remember that about her. That's one of the things that sticks out this show about her. So Caroline Fleming then asked Juliet about talking to Marissa, and all the ladies at the table start talking about the Singalong at Royal Albert Hall, and Juliet has no idea what they're talking about and says she's never been. To camera, Juliet says, "Oh, Marissa decided to show me that we're in a fight by not inviting me. She invited everybody else, and she said, someone wants to try to hurt me, I take note." So then for dessert, Caroline Fleming brings in fruit. And Caroline Stanbury says, "I don't eat fruit. It's a mental thing. Ever since boarding school, they made me eat fruit, and I'd gag on it every morning." And Caroline Fleming just keeps insisting, "Taste it, taste it, taste it, taste it, taste it." So Caroline Stanbury tries a tiny bit of orange and then spits it right back out. She just can't do it. It's just an interesting fact to learn about Caroline Stanbury. So Fleming says, "Okay, girls, I'm going to throw you out in 10 minutes. Which is so funny. They're in the middle of eating their dessert, so they're all kind of surprised, like, what? They're still eating at this dinner party, and she says, "I'm going to throw you out in 10 minutes. It's a Monday night. It's a school night. It's okay to tell your friends to leave." And Juliet says, "Caroline Fleming is ridiculous. She says she's ridiculous, but then she says, but I'm ridiculous, so I like it." Now, I will say Juliet seems to kind of be all over Caroline Fleming, and Caroline Stanbury is taking notice. This has come up before where she's social climber, so it felt like the editors were trying to show us that Juliet was being extra nice to Caroline Fleming because she's Danish royalty. So then we're at the Royal Albert Hall. Marissa brings flowers and stuff to set up for a nice evening with her friends and her family with the Christmas sing-along. So her mom and her dad and her brother and their family all come in this one time a year. They all get together and they do this. They have kids there and gifts from Santa, and it's a big deal. So it just looks so nice. Sometimes I see these events and I think, oh, I'd love to do that. This is one that I'd really like to do. It just looks, I've never been to Royal Albert Hall. It just looks beautiful, and I love the tradition, and I love the idea of going to a Christmas sing-along and having Santa and silly hats and Christmas trees with your friends and your family, and what a fun way to celebrate the year. I just think it looks like a really cool event. I do think Marissa was being kind of childish not including Juliet, because we'll see later when Juliet has an event, she does include Marissa. So I think Marissa should have just dealt with it, because there were a lot of people here at this thing, so if she didn't really want to talk to Juliet, she could have kind of avoided her, but that's just my thought. So in the meantime, we see Juliet during this time. She is going to have dinner with her husband, Gregor. I don't know why, but I love that name, Gregor. It's very Scottish. I'm saying that for you, Anastasia. If you're listening, you are my Scottish friend. But I don't know. I like that name a lot. I think he's kind of dorky cute, although I find Marissa's husband also dorky cute. But I also love Juliet's purse here. Did you see it? It says darling on it. It's sparkly. It's just a cute little square bag. Just things that I notice. So it's cool to see them out on a date together. He works out of town most times, so they try to, enjoy their time together. She's explained that she's missing home and Gregor's traveling a lot. She's just dealing with a lot right now. She feels alone and she misses her family, and it's Christmas. So that's got to be hard, to live in a different country and to try to navigate all these things. And when your husband's working a lot, it's got to be rough. So we're back at the Royal Albert Hall. They like to bounce back and forth between what's going on just to show, the juxtaposition of the two, the party and the dinner. But they're talking about Juliet, and Sandwich thinks that Juliet feels animosity toward Marissa because Marissa married a Brit and she doesn't have to work as hard to fit in, whereas Juliet doesn't have all that. She doesn't know people here. She's trying to fit in. It's just... They all explain it's just a little harder to fit into British society. So back to Juliet. She and Gregor are talking, and Gregor's trying to tell her he thinks that she and Marissa should just sit down and talk and maybe let Marissa know how Juliet's feeling. So he sounds pretty sensible, and she's like, okay, that's a pretty good idea. So that's the plan. So then we go over to Gift Library. That's Caroline's business, of course. It's chaotic there. They're trying to get their deliveries out before Christmas, and her assistant is all stressed out. Christmas, she's explained Christmas for gifting stores when you can do about 50 to 70% of your business. And she brings in this lady, I believe her name is pronounced Rena, and her voice is crazy. I don't mean to harp on this, but she talks like this. I don't know how to do it, but it's crazy. I don't know. Okay. I just get distracted by things like that. But, so Crazy Voice is explaining that it's very crucial that they do well this season. That's the only way they'll continue funding. And Caroline says if they don't, they are absolutely screwed. From there, we see Marissa. She's at this restaurant, tea shop, whatever it is, meeting, and Juliet comes to meet her. Juliet says, with the new year coming up, I don't want bad energy. I don't know if it's broken and not fixable. I've been feeling hurt. And she tells Marissa, you didn't invite me, and are you trying to hurt me? And Marissa says, when I try to do nice things for you, it backfires. You asked me to host, talking about that Thanksgiving, the birthday again. Then you said you're not coming. And Juliet says, I'm sorry I did that. Marissa says, you can't have two people host a party for you an hour apart. Juliet says, it feels like it's your rules, your expectations. I'm trying to understand. Are we cheering for each other? And Marissa says, I support you 100%. If you think otherwise, you don't know me at all. And Juliet says, you've always helped me in the past. I don't feel that way now. She says, with Gregor, okay, so Juliet's explained that her situation, that with Gregor, he's gone and she's alone and she feels it. Marissa says, when you're successful, you're happier to be around. And I feel like you've put a lot into our relationship. I've put a lot into our relationship, and I just don't get that back. And Juliet says, we've been holding on to something that is gone. And Marissa said, friendships change. That's okay. Sometimes you have to make a decision. I'm not going to invest anymore. We can have a good time together, but my boundaries are up. And Juliet leaves, and it's weird, and I hate it. I wish they'd make up. I think I understand both of their sides, but I also think they're both a little bit wrong here, and I just don't like it to end like this. Especially, I'm not the biggest fan of Juliet's, but knowing that she's lonely and struggling with all this, I hate that. That sucks. I don't want anybody to feel like that. And that's how the episode ends. We see a flash to next time. Marissa is opening a restaurant. It's a hot dog and burgers and fries place, and it's New Year's, so they'll be having a New Year's party. Juliet's throwing something, And we see that infamous scene of Julie doing the headstand, and I believe it's Caroline Fleming doing, Fleming. I was getting Fleming and Stanbury confused. Fleming is doing the headstand as well, but Stanbury makes a comment, and Julie's crying inconsolably, and then we see Caroline dancing around on Gregor, and remember, it blows up into World War III, and I can't wait for it. I really want to see that. I can't wait to talk about it. So much in every episode that's so much fun and so crazy. I love this season. It's so good. I'm loving doing the recaps. I hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave me comments below. Let me know what you think. Are you team Juliet? Are you team Marissa? Who do you think's right? Who's wrong? Very curious to know your thoughts. But thanks for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.